So the next game that I have is called What's My Number, and I love playing this game. I play this game regularly with one of the kids that I tutor, and we've been playing this for probably a year, and we never get bored of it. And he's a little feisty 12-year-old with ADHD, so if he can be captivated by this game, I feel most kids can. Now we played a game called What's My Number using base 10 blocks. As you see, we're not using base 10 blocks for this game, and I've just created a game board using a manila folder. I created a little graphic using Microsoft Word saying what's my number, a psychic, crystal ball. And on the inside, we have a number chart from 1 to 100. And what I've done is I attached everything to a manila folder, and then I laminated the entire thing. This creates a game board that we can use over and over again, as long as we use dry erase marker. It's important to use dry erase marker because other markers won't wipe off as easily. Some markers are permanent, so if you want to reuse these over and over again, it's advisable to use dry erase markers. So you need 2 players, 2 game boards, 2 dry erase markers. We have Eddie the elephant and Larry the lion who have volunteered today. So the first thing both players do is they choose a number, and I've chosen the number 17. Larry the lion does not know that, and Larry the lion has chosen a number as well. Now from this game board, we usually have numbers from 1 to 100. What I've done here is, for my first couple of games, when I first introduced the game to kids, I only want to work with maybe 20 or 30 numbers. So what I've done here is I have numbers from 1 to 30, and I've crossed out everything afterwards. And the reason why I've done that is because when you're first playing the game with kids, they're still getting used to the rules, they're still getting used to developing strategies and questions to come up with, to guess what the other person's number is. So if they have numbers from 1 to 30, it's a more manageable number, and they have better opportunities to explore relationships between numbers and come up with their own strategies. It's also good to play with an adult who knows the game and is familiar with the game, because they can model some of those strategies as well that they may not have come up with by themselves. But kids are pretty clever. They always surprise me because they always come with strategies that I haven't thought of. So I wouldn't say that this should be completely teacher model. Kids come up with their own solutions, come up with their own ideas, and it's pretty impressive to observe that and see that. So we have numbers from 1 to 30. I've circled number 17. Larry the lion has circled his number. And basically we just take turns going back and forth trying to figure out what number Larry the lion has. So I'll ask a question, and my question might be, is your number an even number? And Larry the lion will say, yes, my number is an even number. So I know Larry the lion's number is an even number, which means when I cross out the number, which means that I have to cross out odd numbers. Now this is a difficult thing to do, eliminating choices. Kids are so used to looking for answers, looking for what could be the answer. It's very difficult to take away choices. So eliminating a choice such as odd numbers is something they have to get used to. So Larry the lion's number is an even number, so we're going to take away all the odd numbers. So 9, 19, 29, 7, 17, 27, 5, 15, 25, 3, 13, 23, 1, 11, 21. So now Larry will ask me a question, and now it's my turn to ask Larry a question. And I'll ask Larry a question, is your number divisible by 2? And he'll say, yes, my number is divisible by 2. And then I'll think back, I'm like, oh, that was kind of a nonsense question, because of course it's divisible by 2. All the numbers are even, and even numbers are divisible by 2. Kids will come up with these generalizations as well. They might make those kind of mistakes, but they're not really mistakes because kids are kind of learning. Well, I think all these even numbers are divisible by 2. So I think that's an important generalization for kids to develop. So now Larry the lion will go, and now it's my turn again. I'll ask, does your number have 2 digits? And Larry will say, yes, my number has 2 digits. So I know I can take away all the 1 digit. I can eliminate all the 1 digit answers. 2, 4, 6, 8. And then, you know, we're stuck with a couple of numbers. Larry the Lion will ask me a question, and now I'll ask Larry the Lion a question. I'll ask, does your number have, does your number's digits add up to an even number? And Larry the Lion will say, no, the digits to my number don't add up to an even number. So I'll look and I'll see, okay, so 1 plus 2, the digits of 12, that's an odd number. And he said his numbers don't add up to an even number. So I can cross out all the even numbers. So I'm going to cross out, let's see what else is here. So I can cross out 2 plus 0 gives me an even number. 2 and 2, the digits of 22 give me an even number. 2 and 4 give me an even number. 2 and 6 give me an even number. 2 and 8 give me an even number. 3 and 0, third is an odd number. Let's see, what else? Another question I can ask is your number larger than 16? And Larry the Lion can say, yes, my number is larger than 16. So what I can do is I can eliminate 14 and 12 and 16 because it's larger than 16. Now I'm left with only a few choices. I'm left with 18 and 30. So, oh, and also 10. Oh, actually no, I can cross out 10 because that's less than 16. That's smaller than 16, and we know that the number that Larry has is larger than 16. And, you know, our last choice we can ask, you know, is your number larger than 20? Or I might want to say, is your number divisible by 10? Right, because 30 is divisible by 10. And Larry might say, yes, my number is divisible by 10. So I'll know it can't be 18 because 18 isn't divisible by 10, but 30 is. So I can guess and I can say, is your number 30? And Larry will say, let me check. We'll turn this around. And is it 30? It is 30. And we've guessed Larry's number. You know, we can play this game again. And as kids play the game more often, they start developing strategies, impressive generalizations between numbers, and it's a good game for them to explore numbers and explore relationships between numbers.
하루에 12번씩 전화를 걸어 확인하고 어쩌다 통화 중일 때면 괜한 의심으로 넌 또 메시지를 남겼나. 이 시간에 대체 누구길래 전화를 해. 잊지도 않은 여자를 상상해 만들어내. 숨이 막힐 것 같아.